I'm not quite sure what got me into it, but sometime around 2 to 2.5 years ago, I began doing a little thing called meditation. Of course, I always knew what meditation was and the supposed benefits of it, but I never began practicing it consistently until I began my life-changing journey back in July 2020. Things were hectic and uncertain, not just in my own life, but around the world, with COVID first making its appearance a few months prior, and the result was my anxiety being at an all-time high. The gym, which was normally my form of therapeutic release and what brought me peace of mind, was closed due to the pandemic. It didn't take very long for me to start to feel the negative effects of this change. Follow that up with a lot of time in isolation inside my house, and that just took my overthinking and anxious tendencies back to levels I hadn't felt in years. As fucked up as it sounds though, I really am thankful for what happened back in 2020. I was quite literally forced to go on a journey of self-discovery that led me to take this meditation thing more seriously. There were many years where doing things as simple as eating food or sitting down and relaxing would be too anxiety-ridden of a task for me to achieve. It felt like no matter what I did, my mind would be going a million miles a minute, leaving me no chance to even feel slightly connected to the present moment. I felt super disconnected from the world around me, and that's what led me to look internally and get back into nature. Meditating in nature, quite literally feeling nature with my own hands and feet on the grass and dirt, almost grounded me and felt like I was healing. I made it a routine to meditate in the morning or sometime throughout my day, and what felt to me like a superpower was really just the result of my mind finally being quiet, or as close to quiet as I had felt in years. I started off using the Calm app back in 2020 because it would help guide me through the process, and then eventually I moved over to using nature sounds when I would meditate indoors. Eventually I found that allowing my mind to just sit with itself and really focus on the present moment, whether it be noisy or complete silence, helped me really dissect my own thoughts, question them, and evaluate them on a deeper level than ever before. Prior to meditation, any little thought I had controlled me to the fullest. Once meditation became more consistent and ingrained into my lifestyle, I began to look at my thoughts the way you could kind of look at clouds going by in the sky. I was better able to analyze whether or not a particular thought was useful to me or not, and if not, disregard it. Over time, I actually noticed that this would help me to stop overthinking and thinking so negatively, because I was more aware of all my negative thought patterns as they happened in real time. It's funny, actually. You don't realize that your thoughts control every aspect of what you do until you take a step back and watch them from a distance. It truly does bring you clarity and self-awareness on a deeper level. Think about it like this. All day you have a voice that is inside your head, directing and telling you what to do, how to feel, and where to direct your attention to. What meditation does is, over time, it finally allows you to kind of sit with yourself in that voice uninterrupted and allow you to determine whether or not that voice was ever even really you. It actually started to feel like I was finding myself again, because when thoughts came to mind that felt like they were influenced by somebody else, I could analyze that and go with how I really felt. In more recent times, my routine began to look like a quick 10 to 15 minute meditation before the gym, because it gave me a level of bliss that kind of carried into my workout and helped me focus better on what I was doing. The gym, which was already a great form of therapeutic release for me, was now accompanied by meditation and sitting with my own thoughts. Being able to sit with my thoughts for extended periods of time began to even restore my attention span that social media and constant novelty had dwindled over time. Traumas from my past also began to unveil themselves as I began to ask where certain irrational thoughts came from or why I had them at all. The farther removed I became from meditating on a consistent basis, however, will lead to all these positive benefits slowly fading away and getting cast to the wayside. All that mental clarity, once again, that I had built up was being overtaken by a foggy mind. Some of my best ideas that have come to me recently have been the result of me being able to just sit with myself and my thoughts through meditation. It really highlights how little we actually let our thoughts run wild and relatively uninterrupted by what's around you. The weird neurological pain that began after my very dark and gritty experience with true anxiety, panic attacks, and depression would probably still be destroying my mental strength if I didn't over time develop the mentality that I won't allow it to hinder or hold me back in life any longer. The strength and execution needed to create a mindset shift that powerful and that drastic was helped by meditation tenfold. I allowed myself to really just sit with the pain and realize that it was just a part of my present experience. And only I can make that mental choice to perceive that experience as positive or negative. It just was. Anything happening in that present experience was just a part of being alive. At this point, I really believe meditation is just a staple of my lifestyle. Whether or not I do it very consistently, I always find myself returning to it when I mentally feel I need it the most. Meditation has taken my mental state and ways of thinking to places I never thought they could go. A motivational speaker I met a few months back at a networking event once told me this: "A thought is free, but it can produce millions." That kind of made me sit with myself for a minute. Our thoughts are easily the most powerful weapon at our disposal. That means being able to form those with clarity is essential.